open world racing games are on the uptake. Everything is getting bigger and better. Maps, car rosters, and file sizes. Some releases are just the right fit for all your free roam needs. What they are called and which game may be the best for you is coming up now when we discuss the top 7 open world racing games right here. And with that, welcome back to Overtake. Racing game fans are freedom-loving creatures. We like to have the wind blow through our luscious locks and a good bit of adrenaline in our veins. Open world racing games have been around for quite a bit and provided us with exactly that. With a whole slew of opportunities, one may feel like the possibilities are endless. Our first entry into this list is Need for Speed Unbound. As one of the most recent open world releases, this game has really shown players how far we have come. Released in December of 2022, it is also the newest entry into the Need for Speed gaming franchise, bringing both a revamped style and a whole bit of new features to the imaginary city of Lakeshaw. In it, you race in a day and night cycle in a constant struggle to become the best racer of your town. Even though the open world here is not integral to the gameplay most of the time, it never feels out of place or unloved. Just like you will never ever feel unloved again when you hit the like, subscribe, and tap the bell, so you're always in the picture when another top list like this hits the shelves. But back to Unbound. Opportunities are plenty in Lakeshaw, which is the main reason for an open world really. On almost every corner you can commit property damage or resist arrest by way of danger to road traffic. Oh, how cool it is to be a criminal. This game offers a lot of character, and it is also great to see how the open world flows with the layout of the tracks, for example. A job well done in connecting everything here for open world racing fans. In terms of map size, Unbound is nothing to laugh at as well. Even though exact numbers are hard to find, it is easy to see that this is one of the biggest maps in NFS yet. However, many points of criticism that I even brought up upon the game are valid. There's still a lack of valuable content and the story disappointed at parts as well. Which is why NFS Unbound is at the start of this list. Nevertheless, over the years, many open world games have carried the name Need for Speed. But with Unbound, it felt like they finally made a step into the right direction. If you're looking for something newer and an open world game that has just released last year, this may be the game for you. But speaking of making steps into new directions, when talking about our number 6 Burnout Paradise, innovation is a must mention. The latest title of the infamous Criterion franchise was touted to be their step into the future back in the days. At release in 2008, not a whole lot of racing games have hit the then new-ish consoles, PS3 and Xbox 360, with open world titles like Forza Horizon 1 and The Crew releasing much later. On top of that, most still incorporated the PS2 technology, and with Burnout Paradise, this was finally bound to change. In terms of open world racing, Paradise offered the same fast-paced, action-packed style we would see from numerous franchises over the years. Probably the most iconic is the drive through the gas station to repair feature, which we still see implemented today. In a lot of departments, Burnout Paradise was ahead of its time. Not in map size though.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
With over 150 vehicles and a 42 square kilometer sized map, Paradise City was the land of opportunity for racing game fans back in 2008, but on a rather small scale. Nevertheless, they made the best out of what they had. Undeniable that it paved the way for a new generation of titles, while not neglecting fun and exciting gameplay. There's no real crash gameplay though, so if you're looking for that in this particular Burnout title, you won't be happy. Still, the title found a lot of success, and to this day, the latest we have heard of Burnout was the remake of Paradise in 2018, bringing the game with all the DLCs to PS4 and Xbox One. So if you want to revisit that piece of history in a bit of a new environment, it may be worth a purchase. Paradise showed that taking a different direction sometimes is beneficial for you, and it also helped propel newcomers into the spheres of open world racing, just like our number 5. With The Crew 1, we have a very worthy number 5 spot. While the 2014 release already had a lot of players excited for a new IP in the racing game genre, it was one specific feature that made people's ears perk up. With approximated 5 to 7,000 square kilometers of map size, the playable area of the Crew 1 is gigantic. Something almost unimaginable by then standards, and still impressive today. The map is a complete rebuild of the United States with over 10,000 kilometers of winding roads. Impressive is an understatement. The release of the Crew also prompted a change for the rest of the industry. While it was of course imminent that with technological advancement, games and maps would only get bigger, it is quite the statement that the Crew 1, which was released in the same year as Forza Horizon 2, outscaled said game by 100 times. And it delivered in the other categories as well. With engaging gameplay and above average graphics for the time, the very ambitious Ubisoft project hit the market with a boom, making the Crew one of the best-selling racing games of the year. With the Crew, new waters were tested in terms of drivable range in the open-world racing game genre. A new title is also on the horizon here. And if you're curious, a short look into our video on it after you're done here may be beneficial for you. Although the Crew is a recent dabble of Ubisoft into open-world racing, it wasn't their only one. For number 4, we went with a fan favorite in Drivers San Francisco, a game that is very heavily focused on story and has made a name for itself by being one of the most engaging racing games of the past century. Released in 2011, Drivers San Francisco tried being an alternative to the arcade racers of the time, and it succeeded in doing so. Mainly by providing a wacky, over-the-top version of a car chase style movie. All that while having the ability to control other cars mid-mission. Having a poltergeist-esque racing game may sound daunting to some. It actually made for a super entertaining playstyle though, and gained a whole legion of fans for its out-of-the-box playing style, thus landing on this list. All of this accompanied by an open-world feeling, which made everything so much better. While I couldn't explain the premise of the story to you if I tried, it is always calming to know players even have the freedom to explore and find their own ways through the madness in over 355 kilometers of road network. This game is certainly not for everyone, but if you're about fed up with the same old storylines of other racing games, this may be the best find for you. One problem does exist with that, however. The sad part of Drivers San Francisco is that due to a loss of rights, the game is no longer available for online purchase anymore. If you want to have your mind blown by one of the most unique racers ever, you may need to find a physical copy as it stands. And with that, back to a time where a lot of us had physical copies. Or number 3 is once again a Need for Speed title. Need for Speed Carbon is one of the most underrated racing game titles ever, unifying the core elements of the most beloved titles, Underground and Most Wanted. Even though this wasn't the first open world racer of the series, the implementation of how it worked with the game was superior. With the subdivision of the map into districts for a better overview, or events flowing with the world map being a couple of examples. Suddenly, a lot of mechanics revolved around the open world, like the change in terrain based on which crew controlled the district. The game brought its own flair, which was important given that the previous Need for Speed titles were pretty similar in terms of gameplay and story. This NFS still holds up today, by the way, mainly because of many dedicated fans that programmed a whole heap of mods for it. So if you feel the itch, there's really nothing stopping you here. Carbon has brought upon something very special, in that it really tried to lay a big focus on the gameplay with the map, rather than just having an open world for the sake of it. Feeling truly free in what you can do was a first time for the series. If it wasn't for this shift in mentality, some of the better parts of this franchise may have never turned out the way they did. Of course, nowadays, a game from 2006 in its core version doesn't compare to thousands of square kilometers of playable map. But still, if you want to experience what propelled open world racing forward, this is certainly part of history. Going from a piece of history to today's gold standard.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Coming in at number 2, Forza Horizon 5 may very well be the best open world racer we currently have. From a technical standpoint as well as from a gameplay one, the latest Horizon game gave us everything we asked for and a bit more. Released in 2021, Forza Horizon 5 brought the racer to the beautiful Mexico on a mission to ruin crops and crash cattle. Jokes aside, the theme of the Horizon games continued with this iteration and got a good chunk better in a lot of ways. With features like a local weather system, Forza really tried to push the boundaries of what we knew from open-world racers. In Horizon 5, it's not just the same kind of challenges everywhere you go, but you need to adapt in order to succeed. This kind of dynamic really improved the way the open world played on this one. Not to mention, graphics-wise, it is a pleasure on the eyes. Interestingly enough, FH5 is not remotely challenging the competition in terms of map size. Some would call a 100 squared kilometers meager, but given the implementations of so many new features, it doesn't feel small for 1 second. If you're looking for an open world racing game which gives you the most complete experience of the genre, Horizon 5 is the name of the game. Given the success of the genre, it is also just a matter of time before we see another sequel to it, making it much more exciting to test the waters with what we have. For our final entry though, we went with the GOAT of open world racers. For our number one, we had to give admiration to Test Drive Unlimited 1. For many, and myself, the epitome of open world racing. Have you ever lost yourself in a game for hours and still didn't feel like you rushed through it? Like there was so much more to experience? I know, you know that you know exactly what I mean. Test Drive Unlimited 1 was truly miles ahead of everyone else. Released in 2008, the game featured a whole slew of missions and possibilities to get your hands on luxury cars and earn money to then buy more of the same. One may call that not too engaging, but the way Eden Games made TDU 1, you just don't notice that. High octane, funny, and majorly badass is probably the best description for this gameplay. Oh, and have I mentioned the map? Yeah, it is 1,554 squared kilometers big. Let that sink in. It is 21.5 times bigger than Forza Horizon 4. And to this day is one of the only games that holds a candle to the sheer mass of the crew. Of course, there's the younger brother, Test Drive Unlimited 2, which brought an even bigger venue to the consoles of the world. However, the test of time was smoother on the first iteration, with less bugs and frankly more features that got streamlined in the second title. For my money, TDU 1 hits the sweet spot between having a huge map to drive on and engaging gameplay to complement it. Of course, it is once again on the older side of racing games, but for my money, it is the best experience an open world racer has ever given me. And now, 15 years later, fans of the franchise eagerly await news about the newest test drive in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, in hopes that the series can tie their newest title into their success of previous endeavors. And who knows, maybe the next time we do a video like this, a different test drive will be at the top. Have we said anything you disagree with? If so, don't hesitate to start a conversation and write a comment down below. Tell us exactly what you think. If you click on this video here now, you will end up seeing what we had to say about the latest cheating scandal that plagued Simracing. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, cheerio.